Op 5 juni 1967 startte Israël de bezetting van de Palestijnse gebieden. Het verkreeg de controle over de westelijke Jordaanoever, Oost-Jeruzalem en de Gazastrook en het startte met de bouw van nederzettingen in dat gebied. De Palestijnen begrepen dat de bezetting een nieuw hoofdstuk inleidde, dat ze niet gauw een eigen staat zouden krijgen en dat Israël er ook niet voor zou aarzelen om systematisch geweld te gebruiken tegen Palestijnen. Broederlijk Delen vindt dat 50 jaar bezetting genoeg is. En we vinden ook dat Israëlische en Palestijnse vredesactivisten te weinig aan bod komen.
Un plan de colonisation progressif de la Cisjordanie, voire de la bande de Gaza et du Sinaï, du plateau du Golan, s'est mis en route. Un plan qui était préparé d'avance, un plan tiroir. Tout état de cause, ce plan est mis en œuvre et les premières colonies apparaissent dès un an après le début de l'occupation.
When it came to East Jerusalem, they had a very decisive move that happened very shortly after the occupation, which was to demarcate a particular line that encompassed, virtually anything that happened south of Ramallah and north of Bethlehem, call it East Jerusalem and annex it to Israel. The way the Israeli government annexed East Jerusalem, basically applied Israeli law to an area that's occupied, it was quite devious. They did it through under the radar. They didn't want the entire international community to be on their case. Of course, this annexation is not legal under international law. The international community doesn't accept it. But according to Israeli law, areas that were annexed to Jerusalem in 1967 are just the same as any other part of Israel's sovereign territory, which means that the locations, the areas and the Palestinians that live in them have a different status, as far as we're concerned, than Palestinians in the West Bank. Following the annexation, the Israeli government also gave the Palestinian population of East Jerusalem a certain status. They have blue ID cards. They're not exactly like a real citizenship, their residency status, and it can be revoked, but it provides certain protections, like, for example, receiving the right to travel throughout Israel, to live and work anywhere in Israel, to get health insurance, to get national insurance, etc. But of course, as I said, Palestinians in East Jerusalem also risk having their residency revoked by the authorities, and they've done quite a lot of it. In terms of the lives of the Palestinians living in East Jerusalem, you see that they're totally discriminated against on every level.
The punchline would be maximum land, minimum Arabs in the land. This is what Israeli politics is actually all about. Taking as much as possible of land, allocating to the Israeli Jewish collective, and pushing Palestinian Arab collective into certain enclaves in order to minimize the amount of land which is available for the Arab Palestinian collective uses. For example, the settlement which we stand now next to, Ma'ale is a settlement which is a few kilometers away from Jerusalem, east, was established in the mid-70s. This settlement specifically was established after Israel had confiscated, simply as that, confiscated an area of about 28,000 dunams in 1976. Land which belonged to several Palestinian communities around, Abu Dis, Azariya, Isawiya, Anata, different communities which used to have land in this area. The land was officially confiscated by the Israeli authorities. The official excuse for this confiscation was an industrial park, an occupational area which Israel established a few kilometers away from here, where we stand, And then once this tiny industrial park was inaugurated, the huge settlement of Ma'ale Adumim, which is much bigger than the industrial zone, industrial park, was built. Ma'ale Adumim today is actually, in terms of population, the third biggest populated settlement in the West Bank. There are about 40,000 Israeli settlers who live here. De facto, it's nothing else than a suburb of Jerusalem.
Hebron is an important city because, first of all, it's the second largest city in the West Bank. About 200,000 Palestinians live over here. But it's also a very special city because in the middle of it, there is an Israeli settlement. It's the only Israeli settlement that is located in the middle of a Palestinian city. And the Israeli settlement it's around the tomb of the patriarch. The tomb of the patriarch, it's a very, very holy place for the Jewish religion, and it's also a very holy place for the Muslim religion. That's why the city of Hebron is a very religious city.
This land is really big and full of all of the trees. Before Laji Center have like that big center in the building, we used like to play in this land. They used to like to do activities in this land. And I remember in 2004, it was the last time I've entered this land. They were starting building this wall, but we have like a sort of a place like we can enter the land. I went with a friend of mine and my dad. She wanted to take photos of us for the last time in this land. So we entered this. I started like jumping on the trees, running, and starting like this is, I have like to follow my time of this land. Like, you know, this is the last time I'll be in this land. So I have like to do everything. I have to feel my freedom for the last time and before they close it up. Women are at the front lines of confronting this occupation and dealing with it for two reasons. First of all, Palestinian women have a lot of internal issues they have to deal with. There's a lot of discrimination against them, sometimes in the law, sometimes in some cases in the society. There's also violence against women in the society, like everywhere else in the world, and they have to deal with these issues. And on top of all of this, they also have to deal with serious human rights violations that are as a result of nearly 50 years of occupation. Women living in villages next door to settlements are the ones who have the most difficult issues to deal with. First of all, the construction of settlements on land that belongs to the village has affected these families very negatively. The economic value, the economic impact is quite harsh. There's also a lot of lack of freedom of movement. These villagers living there, especially women, especially if they are in villages next to the wall, they cannot move freely, they cannot go from one place to another freely, they cannot go to school or to work.
Palestijnse gebieden is als kind opgroeien een zeer grote uitdaging. Het is niet zo dat kinderen hier een leven van een leien dakje hebben, zoals bij ons in het Westen meer het geval is. Kinderen hebben hier eigenlijk vanaf ze geboren zijn te maken met heel zware uitdagingen, waar geweld een van de grote uitdagingen is. En dat speelt zich af op allerlei verschillende niveaus, fysiek geweld, institutioneel geweld, maar ook gewoon alle andere effecten die dat een bezetting meebrengt. Het hele aspect van vernedering, de constante onzekerheid over het leven, de constante onzekerheid over de toekomst. Dus het is eigenlijk zeer moeilijk voor een kind om hier op te groeien en om veel positieve referenties te hebben om zijn eigen identiteit mee op te bouwen.